This is the Puck Junk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. I'm Sal Berry, and with me is Tim Parrish and Clemente Lisi. And today we're going to talk about the 24-25 Upper Deck Series 2 Young Guns checklist that was leaked out on social media earlier this week. We'll also talk about a specific hockey card. Not going to spoil what it is. You'll just have to wait and see what it is. But it was one of the most popular cards of last year. I think you know which card it is. And we'll talk about a few other things. EX2000 being delayed again, a big card show in the New York area. And Quitting Friday just took place last week. That's the second Friday of January where people quit their resolutions, their New Year's resolutions. I know that both Clemente and I have written about our collecting resolutions for 2025. And Tim, you got to share. Well, you don't have to share. It's more fun if you share. But yeah, we'll talk about our resolutions and if we quit them yet. All right. So what's up, guys? Who'd like to start?
I'll start to say that I feel like I'm already broken my resolutions. Not my hobby ones because it's too early, but just in general, this is the time of year, like you said, it's 2 weeks into the year, and it's like, yeah, I'll have that extra piece of pie.
Yeah, that's accurate. Tim, how about you?
I generally advise people to stay away because I'm a ticking time bomb. But, other than that, I'm all right. I'm still a little sick. Oh, but we're supposed to talk about our resolutions. I don't have any. I don't make resolutions. I think resolutions are dumb because of this very thing. People go out and set out to light the world on fire all of a sudden in this brand new day. Like, it's December 31st. This year was horrible, blah, blah, blah. 24 hours later, all of a sudden, it's a brand new day and I'm going to change the world. Get out of here. If you weren't going to do it before, you aren't going to do it now. So there's no point. Now, from a hobby standpoint, I try not to be vocal about them because if you say them out loud, then they don't come true, just like wishes. But I'm going to make my goals reasonably small. That way, if I aim here, and I'm pointing to my keyboard, and I hit here, which would be above my camera, that's a success, right? If I aim at my ceiling and I miss, well, then that's a disappointment. So I'm going to aim low and I'm going to hit high. And so my only resolution that I have is 2 sets from my 70s Tops run I'm going to complete this year. 2. Not 1, but 2. That's my goal. So don't ask me which ones yet. I haven't plotted that out.
I know which ones.
But I will complete 2 of my 70s Tops set runs.
But I already know which ones. I mean, I know you're trying to be all mysterious and stuff, but I know which ones you're going to complete.
How do you know?
I do. You're going to do 71, 72, and 72, 73.
Well, my 71, 72 is already done except for the booklet, so I'm not counting that one.
Oh, okay. See, I was right. That was one of them. Okay, and
yeah, but I finished that last year. That was last year's goal.
All right.
I mean, I still haven't finished the booklets, but that's just
those are inserts, right?
Yeah, that's extra. It probably will not be the 72 set because most of what I have is pretty banged up, and I need to replace a lot of cards. If I was to guess, since I have to put a label on it, it's either going to be the 77, 78 set and possibly the 75, 76 set. Those would be the 2 that I would guess.
Wow. Those are the 2 most boring sets from the 70s.
Hey, I don't come into your house and tell you how boring your stuff is.
No. I'm not dissing your...
Just give me this one.
I'm just saying, 75, 76, and 77, 78 are like the two dullest hockey sets of the 70s. I just think it's funny because when you said 77, 78, I'm like, oh God, that top set is ugly.
Never know. I might even do the 78, 79 set. I'm actually not that far off on that one. Most of the cards I need left on that are the higher numbers,
Mm-hmm.
like past 130 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is. It just is. But
Just how it is sometimes, yeah.
I mean, I could try the 7980, but I'm never getting the Gretzky, so I'll be one card short forever. That's my goal, though. Two from my 70s run.
No, and you know what? That's a good goal, and that's a manageable goal because I remember some acronym. Not going to get into it, but it's like goals need to be SMART, and then like S stands for something. Like I forget what S stands for, but M is measurable, A is attainable, R is reasonable, and T is like I don't know, timely or something. So I forget what the S stands for. That was some company nonsense, whatever. Like team means together everyone achieves more, that sort of stuff.
Like KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Right. That's good to just say two, because like you said, it's not about keeping your expectations low. I mean, 70s cards just don't fall off of trees. Even hockey, I mean, especially hockey, and a lot of commons from those sets, if you could find them, they're not super expensive. I mean, especially late 70s, you're looking at like a quarter to like maybe 50 cents at a show, maybe $1 for like a goalie. And I'm just talking about like commons. You know what I mean? They're
It
not.
was like that for a
Yeah,
long time.
it was, right.
Since COVID, I mean, you're talking bottom of the barrel guys are still $1. I mean, unless somebody's got a secret table they go to.
When I gave my resolution for this year, I said it was to complete sets. And I didn't say how many sets. I just said as many sets as I could. And the reason is because incomplete sets are taking up a large portion, not the largest portion, but enough space where I looked at it. I said, I have too much space dedicated to sets that are half finished. So either I'm going to decide to finish the set or just get rid of the cards, right? A perfect example 2010-11 Panini certified. I need like probably half that set. I'm talking about the base set, not the short printed rookie cards. I should just buy the set because I could get the set for like $50, which is cheaper than tracking down those 100 or so cards that I need. Or I should just forget about it and just get rid of the cards that I have and say, all right, you know what? This is taking up space. Get it out of here. Right. And I need to make that decision with a lot of sets that I have. Some are in pages, some are in boxes. But yeah, same idea. But like me, it's more about just making room for stuff that I want to have and not having all these boxes of like half finished sets taking up space.
Well, anybody that's looked at my set needs page on the blog knows that I have the same issue. But that'll be my goal for 2030. I don't want to set that now. I'll leave that aspiration. Look, I'm only labeling these as two sets from the 70s because in the process of doing that, I'll probably pick up a bunch of others from the other sets too. Just in that process because I don't know which one. So maybe I'll knock off a bunch from the other ones. I mean, some I need a lot, some I don't need it that many. The hardest part is doing the full thing, like the stickers. Stickers are the hard ones. The booklets, of course, for 71, but stickers for 73, the cloth stickers for 74, the glossy inserts aren't that hard to find for like 76 and 77, but the squared off ones are, people want more for those because they're more rare, air quotes. But this show isn't all about me. It's about all of us together collectively as one big happy hobby family. So we should take the focus away from me.
I just want to add to Tim's resolution that given that your resolution is to finish some of those sets, even better reason to try to get you to the expo this year because you can probably knock it off there pretty easily. So anyway.
Probably. I'm probably could dumpster dive into some common boxes and stuff and try to
there's plenty of that
together.
So yeah, plenty of that.
Well, I plan on a couple tree ComC orders at some point throughout the year. So
Yeah, I was gonna
it's
say
like
that's
normal.
the best way to
That
do it.
knocks off
The
a lot.
cheapest- Yeah, the more economical way to do it for sure.
Clemente, you're going to a show this upcoming weekend. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, the White Plains Winter Extravaganza, which is kind of the first big regional show of the year, if you count White Plains along with Dallas and Chantilly and Chicago and Burbank and all that stuff. So yeah, big show, 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some really good hockey signers will be there. 4 people, 4 former NHL stars, including Marcel Dion, Chris Chelios, Fred Hall, Adam Oates, and Fred Hall and Adam Oates are also doing signings together. I think they're also doing photo ops together on Sunday. That's all on Sunday. So I'll be there on Sunday. So if anyone's there, look me up, and I'll be there. And I'm hoping to get some autographs and looking to buy maybe buy some wax, maybe buy some singles. I just don't know. I don't know what's there in the wild. I haven't been to a show, I think, since it's been a while. I don't want to say it's the Expo, but it could have been the Expo. Because once I go to a show like the Expo or the National, I don't need to go to a show for a while. I feel like I'm good. And so I think I haven't been to one since the Expo, which was only early November. So it's been about 10 weeks. So yeah, I'm excited, and it'll be a good show. Usually the winter show is really good. I will say though, Sunday will probably get really quiet in the afternoon because of the playoffs in the NFL. That just means more chances for me to look for deals. So I look forward to being there.
About how long does it take somebody to go through a show like that? I mean, I know obviously if you just run around, you could get through everything in like
Yeah,
half an hour. But like if you were
sure.
just to go up and down the aisles and just kind of look at everything, not thoroughly look at everything, but if you're like looking for something, how long do you think somebody would need for a show like that?
Yeah, so it's about 400 tables, 300, 400 tables. It's a pretty big show. In the past, I've done where I've gone on Friday just for a few hours just to see stuff, and then go back on Sunday really to go back to the tables I want to go to. I'd say it takes about 5 hours. For example, you're walking down the aisle and you see some guy selling football helmets, and you're not into that, you just skip that table, right? But there's a lot of tables with cards, and so you want to take a look in the showcase. There's a fair amount of hockey. It's not a ton, but some people have all the sports and they always have one showcase for hockey. That means you have to look.
Right.
But a lot of the same dealers from the New York, New Jersey area set up there. So at this point, I've been going for many years now. I know some of the dealers and where they're located, so I just go to those places. And a lot of people sell wax, a lot of people sell products, a lot of people sell top loaders. Even you can skip all those tables, and so just get right to the nitty gritty. So I'd say about 5 hours. So I would get there early, like on a Saturday or Sunday if you're going to go. And then VIP early admission on Fridays at 1 p.m., which is good because that's early enough. It used to be like 5 p.m. So 1 p.m. is good. So if you're playing hooky from work or work from home or whatever, you can go early on a Friday. And I used to always do that, go on Fridays, because I used to be able to sort of scope the area out a little bit for 2 hours and then go back. It gets fairly crowded on Saturday because it's cold out. No one has nothing to do, and so Saturday's the quiet afternoon. It gets really quiet early. And last time I was there last year, like 3 o'clock, people were putting their stuff away, which was not cool, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice thing if you can go to a 3-day card show for all 3 days. That is a luxury.
It's ideal.
When I used to shop at the Chicago Sports Spectacular, I'd go on Friday and I'd get there as early as I could. Because, yeah, the first day you're just like scouting around. If you see something you like and you don't think you're going to find it again, or that it's too good to pass up, you buy it. Or if you say, oh, this guy has a lot of 70s hockey cards, I want to sit down with my list. But,
Right.
you don't necessarily see one that's like at a really good price. Like, oh, a Ken Dryden for that much? Okay. So then, otherwise you make a note of that and you come back. Maybe even it's the first table you hit on Saturday, but it's kind of nice to like kind of get the lay of the land and see who has what. And then, like you said, you also beeline to the people that 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 have the stuff that you like. Definitely see what they have first, because you kind of want to spend your money with the people like that have the kind of things that you like, right? Because I think it's kind of like if you go, oh, those are kind of neat, I'll buy those, and then you end up spending like money, like $50 on something that you kind of liked, and then you go to another table and then you find something that you really like, and then you go, I mean, I know we're adults and we have money and we have lines of credit and stuff, but we're also responsible adults, so we have some reason to our purchasing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, and I also like to go with I go with an amount of money, and I just want to spend that. And in a lot of ways, a card show can be like a casino. You want to, yes, they have ATMs, but you don't want to just withdraw money and go crazy. But then there's always, like you said, something that you see there that you never thought you wanted. That's like the old joke about, like, I didn't know I needed this until I saw it, and then I needed it. And then there's all these enticing things that I try to avoid, like everyone's got a mystery box or mystery packs. It's all BS, so don't fall for that. Then there's all these like big like containers of like what I call junk slabs. Don't fall for that. It's like, how many do you need of this of a Tom Brady eighth year card? It was graded a 7. Nobody, but they have those there because they got to get rid of them, and they cost $5 or $10. It costs $20 to grade, which tells you a little bit about people's grading habits. So I avoid all that stuff. It's all very enticing and very interesting, and you don't want to waste your time there. Just look in the showcases, and there's always one or two dealers that have like all these young guns and inserts of the last like 5 or 6 years, which is good if you want to finish a set, like a more modern set, like Series 1 or Series 2. And I've done that before. I've gone, like, I want to try to finish Series 1, just the 200 cards, not the young guns yet. And so I might go with my list, and I think I'm like 50 short or something. Like, yeah, I can go on ComC, or I can go on eBay and just buy a ton. But it's more fun to socialize, hang out, talk to people, and I'll probably see some of the same people that I see all the time. I see them once or twice a year at these shows, and it'll be good to go. And it'll be a good gauge. I like to go to shows as a gauge of like where the hobby's at. I know the hobby is doing really well, but I can tell just by what people are talking about, what people are buying, what people are saying. You can't get that so much on social media because, yeah, people on social media say all kinds of things, but people say real things in person, and I prefer that. So
I'm sorry if you said this because I was zoning out, but
I have a habit of doing that to people. No,
the ticket prices on the autos.
Yeah.
So you said Brett Hall and Adam Oates are signing together?
Yes, I think it's $69 or $89, right, Sal? If I'm not mistaken.
89 for the both of them, if I
For the
remember.
both.
Both of them.
Yeah, for the both of them. Yeah.
Are they doing photo
Pretty
ops too?
Yes.
I think they're doing photo ops.
Man.
Yeah.
How
That's
awesome
pretty
would
cool.
it be if you could get them to pose like the old Rockin' the Blue Note poster, like the old
Well, I
Coast
don't
to
know
Coast
about that.
Brothers poster?
I have to bring like a
Where-
trench coat and like a guitar if I can remember the poster clearly.
Yeah, so Adam Oates has got like is like leaned over, and he's got that old court strat.
Yeah. Yes.
And Brett Hall's holding the
Bass or
microphone
whatever.
stand. He's like
Yeah.
leaned over. Yeah. See, if you could get them to like recreate that.
I will say this. A couple of years ago at this very show, former Mets manager Bobby Valentine was there, and I almost came with a fake mustache to pose with him, but I didn't do it. But I almost did. And then when I got there, I realized he was signing pictures of him in the disguised mustache for baseball fans. He was ejected from a game many, many years ago, and then reappeared in the dugout with a hat on and like, basically like as Groucho Marx, and as if like no one would recognize him. And so he actually signs pictures of that. And so, yeah, it would be kind of funny if someone did that. That would be pretty epic, I would say. It would be a big social media, like,
I think it'd be awesome.
it'd be kind of
You
huge.
can pick up
Yeah, it's
one
a
of
good
those
idea,
court
Tim.
guitars for about $300.
But it involves a lot of props I don't have, so it's too short notice of this, but I like it.
Oh well, next time, keep it in mind.
Yeah. Be like, I'm here for my photo op with you, ex-athlete, but we're going to recreate this poster. So I brought some props.
You know, it's like, have you guys
Like,
seen
listen, I
those
paid you
things?
$89 for this ticket plus another $120 for the photo. You will do what I say.
Right.
But you know what I like? First of all, if these two are going to be at the National, that would be huge because then all of us will be there and we can make this happen. Maybe,
Maybe. Yeah.
Hey,
maybe as
I
a
can-
puck junk poster, that would be epic. Okay. Anyway,
I can-
but then
I've got
the
the
whole
microphone
idea.
stands and guitars. I
Yeah,
can
that
bring
would
all the
be
props.
that'd be pretty epic. I mean, if I was a show promoter, I might have done that, but
But you were going to say, Clemente?
no, now I forgot what I was going to say. But anyways,
Well, you're
but
talking
no,
about a poster and at the National and
Yeah, no, if they're at the National together, I mean, hopefully this is like my way of sending some positive energy to the Nationals. They invite more than like one hockey signer. If they did it at the National, we can do it in Chicago. We can pre-pose them and all that because, but no, the idea of no, it reminds me of like you'll see on Facebook where families will take their siblings and repose them in the same position they were when they were like 3 years old. And they'll take the photo again, but as adults. So this is kind of the same thing with Brett Hull and Adam Oates, that we would have to recreate that poster, which for those of you who don't know it, just Google Hull and Oates and it's pretty epic.
Changing the subject, I'd like to talk about a set that we've all been looking forward to. Really looking forward to, because we just keep looking forward because the set never happens. And I'm talking about the EX 2000 set, which, Tim, you said it's going to be delayed until February 5th.
Well, it's not really delayed. They had a TBD date on it for a long time, but now they tagged it with a February 5th date. So,
But I remember when it was September, then it was October. Remember when we had the creators of the set on our show, and they're like, "It's going to come out in August, like around August, right?" And it kept getting pushed back. And they were talking about how hard these cards are to make because they require, like, I don't want to say they're cut out by hand, but they require some craftsmanship to them because of the layering and such. Remember, they said one of the biggest problems they had with it was just producing and finding people that could like produce the cards, because it's kind of like a lost art now because the printing process has changed so much, so that when you go back to like these older sets, their older style of sets and the way they were produced, you don't have people who do those sorts of things anymore. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
well, February 5th's on the calendar now. So it's more than we had before. It's not even a TBD. It's an actual date.
Right. A day with a date, with a number. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of the pre-seller sites have it listed that way too. So they're about $230 pre-sale for a box. That's 24 packs in a box. But wait, there's only 2 cards in a pack.
Wow.
So $5 a card, basically. Yeah.
You're looking at things going 24 packs in a box. Wow. Oh, but there's 2 cards in a pack.
Yeah, well, Synergy has like 3 cards in a pack.
Yeah. But you get 24 base cards in a box and 12 base rookies along with 8 inserts. And 2 of them are supposed to be parallels, either the rookies or the base cards. But there's no guarantees here. So $230 for a box with no quote unquote hit guarantee, which,
by the way, are these 23, 24 or 24, 25? What are they?
23, 24.
I would think so. So these are Bedard has rookies here.
Yeah. Yeah, because we saw on the sell sheet, they were showing an image of a Connor Bedard rookie in this set. I mean,
sure.
They're 23, 24. He was actually on the header of the sell sheet.
Right.
When it originally came out back in August, September, whenever that was. So, yeah, it's interesting.
August. I'll say August, summer.
I mean, it's nice to see it's finally going to hit with it being $230 on pre-sale. I'm scared to see what it'll be when it actually hits the shelves.
Have they disclosed how many cards, like how many base cards, how many rookie cards to build the set?
To build the complete set?
Yeah. I mean, is it like 100 base cards, 50 rookie cards or something like that?
I don't know. I would have to look.
All right, no worries. I'm just curious because, like, if a set like this is small enough, I'm intrigued. You know what I mean? If it was like 100 base and 50 rookies, because I like odd stuff like this. Like, I like these kind of kitschy. I mean, it's really leaning in on the 90s aesthetic, and I like that. And I like it when they're kind of, when you have like a set like Allure or a set like Metal Universe or something, and it's attainable. You know what I mean? It's not like some of the other sets where it's like 1 rookie card per box, and you're like, oh, well, I'm never going to finish this set, so why even try?
100 base top veterans and an additional 50 base set rookies.
Okay, so 150 total.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically you're going to buy a base set on eBay, and then you'll get the rookies on ePack. Maybe, assuming that it ends up on ePack, which would be kind of funny.
Yeah, I still think that's a little high for something that doesn't have an auto.
Absolutely. I've said a million times, if it's over $100, 100 or more, with some exceptions, I kind of expect an autograph at this point. But now, I mean, I guess after time, I just won't expect it anymore because they'll stop doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I know that Upper Deck Series 1 is not going to have an autograph in it. I also know it's like $120 a box. Okay, fine. You know what I mean? But I get it because they have a
I was shocked to
strain.
see that they brought a memorabilia card back into the boxes. Like Series 1 of this past year has one jersey card per box. And they got rid of that for a little while.
Yeah, I remember they used to be like 3 jersey cards per box, 3 or 4, because I remember buying like 4 boxes and ending up with like 12 jersey cards. Yeah, I remember I used to get jersey cards and I used to always get annoyed because they'd be like kind of like your Sergei Samsonov card, where he's like pictured as a brute, but it's a piece of a Thrashers jersey or something like that, or maybe the other way around. You know what I'm talking about?
It was always a white patch anyway, most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, one time this was like this felt like such a diss. I got this great jersey card. The photo was Dino Ciccarelli in a bright green Minnesota North Stars jersey, and the patch piece was a bright red Red Wings jersey.
Oh,
Right,
terrible.
exactly. Like,
Terrible.
even if it was like a white jersey piece, the green of the North Stars jersey was cool enough for me.
Right,
Like,
right.
okay, well, whatever. They
But
can't all
red,
be colored patches. But the fact that
different
they
team.
used a red, you can't even pretend. You know what I mean? You can't even go like, well, if I don't look at the back of the card, I could pretend this is a piece of a North Stars jersey because they also had white in their uniforms. But yeah, that annoyed me. So I kind of didn't mind when they went away. And it just kind of seemed like a way to just inflate the price anyways. Like, if you get 3 jersey cards per box, but they were like crummy jersey cards, who cares, right?
Well, if they're showing autographs are 1 out of 280 packs. So if my math is correct, that's like 4 per case. So chances of you getting them are not very good. I will say this though, if you look on those double helix cards, those are crazy looking.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine pulling one of those. Those are the case hit.
Yeah.
So, and you don't even get those in every case. You'll either get that or the exceptional, those die cut ones,
Right.
where they're like a X kind of thing on it. Not an X, but they look like the jukebox cards where they're cut and rounded off on the top.
Mm-hmm.
I think they keep using that same die to make different cards.
Yeah, just to cut,
Yeah.
to make that cut. Yeah. It's like a cookie cutter. Once you have it, you just use it over and over again.
Yeah, you get one or the other of one of those in a case. So those are going to have a high ticket. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to the set. I think it'll be funny to see what these sell for on eBay right away if people have kind of lost their interest in. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Not people, breakers. Because breaker's going to break, but like, have they moved on and moved away and do they not care anymore? I mean, if this came out a month after Bedard's Young Gun came out, I could see it riding that wave of popularity. Like, oh, the Young Gun came out, but now this rookie card is better than the Young Gun, because it's die cut or whatever, or 1 per case, or whatever reason they want to explain why we want to overpay for a group break spot. But like, now, I mean, is only the real hockey collectors going to be the ones going after this set?
I think this is clearly a breaker set.
Yeah, at that price, yeah.
You see that price tag, you see that price of cases, the pre-sales on those.
Yep.
And then you look at the fact that these case hits are not just 1 per case, they're 1 per maybe 1 or 2 cases. And considering if it's anything like the sell sheet pictures, they got Gretzky in there. So one of those double helix cards with Gretzky on it. That's a $500 card right out of the box.
I mean, I guess this is a high end product then, which I didn't really realize until more recently. But I guess it's a high end product given the price tag.
High end to us.
Yeah.
$230 a box.
I guess that's becoming like a
chump
normal price
change
now.
to people these days.
No, I know it's becoming a more normal price. Yeah, so
Yeah, $230. So it's like $10 a pack. But you only get 2 cards. But then again, Tim Hortons is $3 a pack, and you get 3 cards. So
Yeah, but you at least get a donut with that.
As I say, yeah.
No, you don't.
No, you don't get. You have to buy a donut. But
I thought you had to buy a donut and then you get the pack.
No, it was the coffee, right? No.
You buy a coffee and 1 pack is cheaper. So it's like, I want to say the pack is 99 cents if you buy a coffee, and then additional packs are like $2.99.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it's all Canadian prices, but yes, this is right. That's right.
Which I think that, like, if you're aiming this towards kids don't drink coffee, so they should have it like if you buy an orange juice or a milk or something, or a donut, because childhood obesity is not a problem, but they don't drink coffee. So I mean,
yeah, but we always say this about kids in the hobby. These cards are not for kids. These cards are for adults, and so we say that, we keep saying the kids are not every Tim Hortons I've ever been to, and most of them have been with you, Sal. I never saw a kid in there. Like, it's all guys our age.
Especially considering 2 weeks before it's even supposed to hit the streets, all the cases are for sale on eBay.
Right. They get leaked out.
Like, all the managers are like, screw this.
Or there was always like some guy who's like, I opened 100 packs of Tim Hortons, and they got them not from Tim Hortons, they got them not from the store. Yeah. Like they didn't buy 100 coffees or anything. Like, they just got them because that's a lot of trays. No, but it's like, it's like hockey. Yeah, it's like hockey card day. They get stuff leaks out, and then people break them online and whatever. But yeah, so it's not about
hockey card day. They really don't ship until like a couple days beforehand.
No, but this guy's breaking 100 packs online or whatever it is.
Yeah, the Tim Hortons stuff is much bigger scale.
So. Yeah, but it's unfortunately not really about kids anymore. I mean, if kids want to get in the hobby, then they're doing it with their dad or their mom, but they're not solo going into Tim Hortons. Maybe they are. But it's not really. You're right, because the whole coffee thing is a sign that 8-year-olds are not buying the stuff.
Screw those kids. We don't need them.
I don't know if I told this story when we did our Expo recap episode, but like Clemente and I and Sean Sullivan, who's one of our listeners, who met us at the show, and we ended up all hanging out and going to the Tim Hortons every day.
Wait. We should point out that it was on the way to the Expo. We weren't going out of our way. It was literally on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like on the way between the hotel and the Expo was a Tim Hortons. So we go there and one day do you have any hockey cards? To be like, I think they had the cards. Yeah, but they didn't have any of the albums. And then we walked in like Sunday morning, and Clemente's like, Sal, look, they have albums. And I go, oh yeah, that's this year's album. I already have it. He goes, no, but there's different ones behind it. Because there was you could see like a little bit of it. And he's like, you should see if that's one that you need. And so I asked him, like, can I see those albums? And they had the one from last year, 23.
Which is weird. They would have a year-old album there.
Because none of the dealers had that album at the Expo. And I was able to get the set, but I wasn't able to get the album. So then I said, I want to buy this album. And they said, okay. And they scan it. It doesn't show up because it's from last year. So then they're trying to figure out what to do. Now, as this is happening, the line behind me is growing.
It's out the door, and it's cold out.
And this is on Airport Road. So you have people like construction workers, airplane personnel, stuff coming in. The line's going out the door practically. And there's Sal holding up the line because he wants his Tim Hortons album. This is one of those strange but true moments. They actually opened a second register and said, we can help the next person over here. So they didn't make me feel bad about it.
The fact that they opened the second register was supposed to make you feel bad. That's the whole point. But no.
I felt better about that.
No, it's good. Yeah, maybe the second register would be nice at every store I go to. But yeah, no, that was kind of odd. I'm basically your eyes and ears when I go to like, I'm like a seeing eye dog when we go to like shows. So I'm like, hey, Sal, do you need that? You know, and 99% of the time, well, you don't need it, but you always get it. So it's fine.
Well, because I couldn't argue with the Bobby Orr autograph for like under $200.
Or you're
I'm just
or the opposite will happen. You're like, I want to get this. I'm like, I think you bought this last year here. Oh yeah, that's right. I think you're right.
yeah, I did buy that. Yeah,
That's right.
I did. Better memory than I have on
Yeah.
my.
I already have 4 of these. Yeah, but this one has a little thing over here on the side that the other 2 don't have.
You have to also realize, Sal, that for all this information that I have in my mind, I don't remember like kids' birthdays, anniversaries. I don't remember any of that. So someone's got to give, right? So at some point,
Yeah.
someone's got to give. It's like you can't pour a bottle of water in a shot glass. Someone's gonna.
My oldest's birthday is today.
Oh yeah, how old is he?
21.
All right.
That's a big birthday.
You know who else's birthday is today?
Who?
Connor McDavid.
Oh, there you go.
Clemente, there's only 2 birthdays you need to remember: January 26th and January 27th.
Wait, was one of them yours?
January 27th is mine.
And what's the other one?
January 26th is Gretzky.
There you go. Oh wow, your day off.
Yeah. So
There you go.
anyway, let's talk about this Beckett unveiling their top 25 hottest cards of 2024 recently. I think the bigger takeaway here is that Beckett is still a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is a big takeaway.
I'll tell you this. They got a blogger, Ryan Cracknell.
He's a workhorse.
His stuff is consistently great. I won't say good. It's great. Like his articles are informative. They tell you what you need to know. They're not clickbaity. They're interesting. They're like legit interesting. If they're clickbaity, it's because they're interesting, but then they deliver. I think clickbait just is like you click on something and then you don't get what you're expecting except a bunch of ads, which we kind of all expect anyways.
Correct.
As far as like the stuff that he writes is good, but like the magazines, unless I have an article published in one, and I haven't written for Beckett in like probably 5 years, I don't really buy their magazine. Oh no, that freebie that we got at the expo, that's the last Beckett I got. I didn't even read it.
Way to keep him in business with that freebie.
Well, I mean, what, the freebie?
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the VIP pass, so we paid for it in a way, but
yeah, they said $10 off a book or free Beckett magazine, and I took the free Beckett magazine.
We got the hockey ones, but
and I think the problem is that because it's 90% price guide, and it's like it's kind of helpful, I guess, if I was like looking up some vintage card prices just to kind of get a ballpark. I mean, which is kind of what price guides were supposed to be in the first place, was kind of like a ballpark, not to use a baseball analogy, but that's the thing. And so people would say, oh, well, this card has a Beckett high price of $20, so $20. And you'd be like, yeah, but it's got a low price of $10, so $10, right? Or when people always say 20% off Beckett, you already know, okay, I'm totally not going to buy from this guy because his prices are a little out of whack already.
Not to talk about Beckett's strategy. I know we're not here to talk about that, but
not to praise Caesar, but to bury him. Anyway.
Yeah, but it begs the question why they still put out a magazine with 90% prices when everyone has the internet. And then you have like, other websites that have created tools where you can actually look things up, like Market Movers, and there's a million places where you can look up prices. And so I feel like, so you're saying they put out a list of the hottest cards of the year, which sounds more like, hey, we're Beckett, we're still around. I don't remember this list being out every year. Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, they do. They put it out.
They do it every year? Okay.
Yeah.
People could look up prices on eBay for free. It's tedious, but they could do that. Yeah. And people can get content for free. So buying a magazine to read entertaining articles is not really, you don't really need to buy that anymore.
But if they had more articles, I would be more into it.
Right. Yeah. And there are other magazines that tried to do that. I mean, do you remember Hobby Insider? It was a Canadian publication from
never read
the late 2000s. And then there was the Want List, which was another one from the late 2000s, which was really good.
I liked the Want List. That was a good magazine.
Want List was fantastic. I really wanted that one to succeed. I subscribed to it. The guy who put it out, he still writes books. I buy the books because they're good.
I mean, it's no Prosec Gazette, but yeah, sure.
Nah, yeah, that was just a puff piece, really. A puff piece and catalog, right? Beckett really missed an opportunity to buy one of those card pricing apps.
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it,
Or make their own, but they could have. Yeah, they could have.
Beckett should have been the app where you take a photo of a card and see what the price is.
Yes.
And instead, the problem is that the owner, James Beckett, he sold to another company. I don't know if they're a publishing company or what their deal is, but like, you know this as a journalist, Clemente, when you have another entity buy a publication, they're not really interested in what that publication can do. They're just interested in how much money that publication can make and how can we make this publication more profitable. Is it fire people to make it more profitable? Is it do this? Is it do that? Right?
Yeah, squeeze it.
So they're not looking to grow the business. They're just looking to squeeze what's there. If Beckett had still been under its original ownership, they might have said, oh no, people are figuring this out.
Yeah, we got diversify, right.
Diversify and innovate.
Yeah, innovate. Yeah.
And they didn't do either of those things because at that point, it didn't matter.
Yeah,
right?
I think it was sold. I think it was sold in 05, 06, which is a critical time in digital publishing where things were starting to move towards the internet. And so you're right. Once they were, and I think they've been sold once again, and they've got a lot of problems we're not going to get into here. But that's the thing. And so now it's just a relic. And so anyway, they put out the list, which is interesting, but the Beckett name is not what it used to be in terms of its grading services, its magazine, its price guide. I just don't know anyone who uses, I see it in Barnes and Noble. I see it, wherever they sell magazines. I see Beckett magazine there, and I thumb through it, but it's not what it was when we were in the 90s.
I only read it for the articles.
Yeah, well, I've heard that before.
I swear, I promise. I only read it for the articles.
Really? You don't just stare at those prices?
If there were more articles, I would probably read it more. Yeah. But
and that's why, like you guys were both saying, as things move more digital, I think Ryan does a good job with the articles that he does publish that pop up. I mean, I read them all the time.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
This being one of them, I thought, hey, interesting to see out of the top 25 cards, how many of the multitude of hockey cards are on that list. Oh, wait, there was only one.
Yeah, and it was?
Do we need a drum roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, the obvious one, right?
Yeah, the Bedard rookie, of course, the young gun.
Bedard young gun,
451. And that was it. If you go down through the list, there's some pretty, from the last year, there's some pretty iconic cards on this list. Shockingly enough, I was actually surprised to see a couple cards from Leaf on there, which Leaf gets a bad rap in the public. So that was kind of nice to see that on there. But
did the Haktua girl card from Leaf get on that list?
No, they're only sports.
Oh, okay.
On this list. They're only sports with the caveat that there is at least one soccer card, if I remember, possibly two, which I know everybody's going to yell at me because I didn't call it a sport, but whatever. I think there was also like a Usain Bolt card from Allen Ginter on that list too, if that's a sport. And women's basketball. I mean, some don't count that as a sport either, but whatever. Anyway.
Geez, Tim, you're getting on thin ice here now.
I might as well just keep digging.
Tim offends everybody on this podcast. Women offended, international people offended. Yeah.
Yes. Equal opportunity offender. If you people would wear your poppies, then we wouldn't have this problem. So like the Bedard.
And we just lost the American audience because they know what we're talking about. No.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the biggest card it's the biggest card. I mean, that's just it. We've talked about this card ad nauseum. Every show that talks about hockey cards has talked about this card ad nauseum. So this card single-handedly sold the product. I mean, the mystery behind it, the anticipation of being able to pull it, the bounty that we talked about on last show. I mean, there was so much intrigue to this. And the fact that he had the potential to be this generational type McDavid / Crosby type superstar. I think more people picked this card up simply for the guy with his mouth wide open over his shoulder in the picture in the background. I think that's why more people wanted it, because it's such a interesting background image. But how many of these are there? 187,000. We guessed 87,000.
There's a lot of them out there.
90,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Right, and just if I can interject really quick, how Tim came to this number, because Tim actually went through the trouble to tabulate how many Bedard Young Gun rookie cards have been graded by the major companies. Now, most of them have been graded by PSA, a little over 15,000 by PSA, and a total of 17,645 Connor Bedard Young Gun rookie cards have been graded.
Just the basic card. Not the oversize, not the outbursts, just the basic card.
Right. And so in the past, I don't know, you mentioned this number. I never heard this. I'm taking your word for it. But that grading usually is like 10% of new cards are graded. Like, or not new cards, but like if it's a popular card and 1,000 of them are graded, that's probably about 10% of how many there are out there. I would wager that at least 20%, if not more, of these Bedard Young Guns have been graded. So if 17,000 accounts for 20%, 17, 7, 34, 34, 34, 68, 78. So like 85,000 maybe, if 17,000 is 20% of the total population. And we have no way of tracking that either.
No, it's just an estimate.
Right. We don't know how many ungraded Connor Bedard Young Guns are out there. I mean, there's a ton of them on eBay. I mean, every day there's people listing them. Raw ones, I mean. I think the grading has probably slowed down a bit because the cards kind of peaked, plateaued, and now it's kind of just on a downward slide because the supply is exceeding the demand by far.
I mean, what did we see in the Sports Illustrated column that came out like a couple weeks ago? 20 million cards were graded last year between the major 4 companies.
Which I think is the record for a cards graded in a year. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's up 16% from last year, or last year being 2023. They only did 17 million. And PSA's graded more than they've ever. Those aren't all Bedard cards, and most of that is not hockey either. But rising tide raises all ships, right?
Right.
If one sport's up, chances are all of them are in that kind of industry. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and hockey's always going to be in 4th place in the United States. Hockey's not the tide that's raising the other ones. It's just that it's kind of along for the ride, especially this card because it was so popular.
No, I would say it's number 3 on the list, which tells you a little bit about, not that we don't know this, but this card was a fixation of a lot of people, and a lot of people that were not hockey collectors got into it. So the fact that it's number 3 on the list, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's like, yes, hockey's on the list and it's super high, but it's also not good because the hype around it really alienated a lot of people, including all of us, where everyone was buying this card, these boxes, but we didn't buy this card or these boxes. We waited and waited and waited. I still haven't bought a box because it cost me $300 and it's not worth it. And
right.
And even if you do pull it, it's the price of this card has dropped dramatically since that early hype, and it's probably where it should be now, and it probably should have always been at 300 or 400, not at 1,200. But It is what it is, and it's good to have eyeballs on the sport and on the hobby and on the hockey hobby, but it's kind of sort of inflating prices and pumping and dumping them. I don't know that it is good for the hobby in the sense that it's not good for people like us who are not here to make money, but we're here because we enjoy it and we're here for the long game. And it's not something that I found it not beneficial. Like I think we all knew that when this set was coming out, Series 2, it was like a wave, and we're like, let's get out of the way before we get creamed by this big wave. Like we don't want to be anywhere near this card. I think back in March, and it's almost a year, if you can believe it. And I think it's a mixed thing. It's just craziness around it. Kind of bothered me for the longest times.
Well, sites like GemRate and stuff, they monitor all this stuff and they measure it and always graph it out. And what we started off saying with the over 15,000 of this at PSA, they did a report showing PSA's list of all the top graded cards for the year. And this card in the hockey category, just in 2024, the calendar year, 14,816 of the 1555 were all in 2024.
That's nuts.
So
Wait, for PSA?
yeah, which means in the last 13 days, another 200 and some have been graded.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, care to venture to guess what the second most graded hockey card was for the year?
In 2024?
Is it a card from 23-24?
Nope.
I'm guessing it was McDavid.
I will tell you, top 20 of hockey cards, there was only one from the 23-24 set, and that was that Bedard. It is not McDavid. No.
Wow.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, with the Oilers getting in the finals too, I thought that would have been for sure thing. Okay.
So my guess is going to be 79-80 Topps Gretzky, because there's still a lot of ungraded ones out there, and I would think that would be the one where people would say, now's the time to get this graded. I'm probably wrong, though.
Sorry. Let me back up. So, in the top 20 all time, the Bedard is the only 23. Last year, there were obviously more 23s. But 14,000 for this card. The next closest one is 3,800. And it's the Leo Carlson young gun.
Really? All from the same year?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the Leo Carlson.
Well, you know what that tells me? It tells me people don't know anything about hockey. We're looking at the top draft picks, and just going, okay, number one, number two. Like I'm just gonna care about the order of the draft without looking at whether these players were doing anything good or bad on the ice or whatever. I mean, Bedard was doing well and was Rookie of the Year, but Leo Carlson, I mean, really?
Number 3, number 4, number 6, number 9, number 11 were all Bedard cards.
Well, speculators. That's all it is. It's all speculators.
Yeah, the only other people that got bids in the top 10 were the Luke Hughes young gun, the Cole Caulfield from 21-22. Coincidentally, all time hockey cards, the Cole Caulfield is number 4 with over 11,000 graded.
Wow.
I would never have guessed that.
No. I would have said Kale McCarr over him. I never would have guessed that.
Bedard is number 1. The Gretzky O-Pee-Chee rookie is number 2. The Yager O-Pee-Chee Premier rookie is number 3.
Because that became a thing during the pandemic with the O-Pee-Chee Premier boxes. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah.
And then the Caulfield, and then the Topps Gretzky rookie.
Really?
All of those.
Wow.
All of those are in the top. Basically, that's the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're all 11,000 or higher each.
So I would never have guessed that list.
The McDavid that you mentioned, 6,900.
Okay. In an already very large pop, 10 years now grading, it's a lot of McDavid young guns that are graded. But
think about that.
It's cooling off.
We used to say all the time that there were billions of the McDavid card out there.
Yeah.
And people were crazy over it. There's 6,900 of them graded at PSA.
Right.
That doesn't even dent
the top 5, right?
Bedards are.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So, grading is such a crazy, crazy world. It's just crazy.
It's just a snapshot into speculation, though. It's not about popularity. It's not about talent. It's not about what you should grade, because clearly, those people are sitting at home right now listening to this, staring at their Leo Carlson PSA 9 card. that's great for them, but I don't know what you're hoping to get with that, because the grading might cost more than what the card is worth at this point, So
It blows my mind. I mean, some of the ones that are in there on these lists, it just kills me. I mean, even Crosby's rookie card, which seemed to be scarcer at the time, but you would see more and more of them within the 10 years that it was out there. They've graded a little over 2,500 of them. I expected that number to be at least as close to the McDavid number, but it's not.
Right.
So I don't know. Grading's never been my thing. I know I speak ill about it all the time, but it's something. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. So,
well, no, I think it's getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, it's not going away. So,
No, why would it?
because it's a scam.
No, because it's a way of artificially inflating the
Yes,
value of
you
a
said
card.
artificial.
Yeah. Temporarily, because if it's a McDavid, maybe long term, or a Gretzky, long term, it will probably be a good thing to get that slabbed. But Leo Carlson, I don't want to pick on him, but you get the Leo Carlson card slabbed, the value goes up of the slab in a 10, you flip it, but then over time that value will go down if the player does not meet expectations. And so in that way, it is, especially if these are base cards. It's not like a 1 out of 10. It's not a numbered card. It's not a parallel. It's just a base, and that's the issue. I think that so it's a scam in that sense. Look, they're not scamming you. People are willingly doing this. They're getting cards graded. PSA isn't forcing anyone to do this, and so I think people need to be smarter about what they grade and why they grade it, and that's it. But this idea that people are just grading base cards and flooding PSA to the point, and PSA is just only one of the major four, to the point where PSA can't even I see numbers every week, 15,000, 20,000 cards getting graded every week across all sports. This is crazy. This is totally nuts. And I don't know what the end game here is. I mean, people do call it junk slabs. We may be getting there where you have cards that are slabbed, the player doesn't meet expectations. You don't get like a 10 or even a 9. And it's like, oh, I don't need this thing. And whatever, it's all part of the game. It's all part of bulk submitting. It's all part of the speculation. In the meantime, the grading companies make money. That's all.
PSA reported 307,000 just last week that they graded.
That's crazy.
CGC did 65,000. SGC did 42,000. Beckett, we won't talk about Beckett. They're barely on the list, hanging on.
They're having a tough time, yeah. But otherwise, these are numbers that used to be weekly numbers on the low end, and now even like a CGC is doing that every week now. So, and I know this guy signed up for PSA to be on their mailing list, and I literally every week get an email from them like telling me to grade. I think the first grading card's like $10. Like the price keeps going down to get you in, because it keeps the machines running. It keeps everything going. And look, if you're Upper Deck or Tops, you have to create product. You have to get creative. You have to do inserts. You have to do all kinds of things to get people to buy your product. You have to get lucky with the rookies. All PSA does is slab. They don't do anything special. They're just slabbing your card. It's a clear slab with a label on it. That's all they could offer you.
Well, no, but they're telling you what grade it is, though.
Well, right. But look, it's a brand new card. I mean, look, if it's not a 10 or a 9, that means you dropped it or something. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
These are all pack-pulled cards. They're all brand new. If there's a problem with them, it's from the factory. It's not because,
Right,
so,
but, then it just becomes another way of stratification in the hobby. Well, I have a PSA 10 because I can afford a PSA 10.
Yes, it's a flex. It's a flex thing.
It's a total flex. I mean, I made a joke that's like ordering a steak versus eating steakums, right? Your raw cards are steakums and your graded cards are steaks.
Yeah.
So, and I hate the whole term slabs, but now I use it because everybody uses it, and
That's
it's just easier to say slabs than graded cards. But oh my god,
you know which cards don't come out damaged out of packs?
I know.
This is according to GemRate, based off of last year within the hockey category.
Oh, I know. This has got to be Tops Now, right?
No.
No, acetate cards.
So it'd be a highly available, widely available release. It's going to be Allure. Allure has a 70% plus gem rate for what gets submitted.
Interesting.
So, I don't know about you, but I haven't bought Allure in a few years. But the first 3 years that Allure was out, I cannot tell you how many of those cards are so far off center. It's not even funny. So, I don't know. They must have gotten better. I don't really buy Allure anymore. I just pick up the singles for my pens set. But anyway, what were we talking about? Our Christmas wish list? I forget.
No, the top graded cards, right?
Oh, yeah.
Beckett,
Yeah. Do you know what the number one was?
Number one what?
One that I'll never own that I want. The number one card on their list.
That you want?
Yeah.
Wait, on the Beckett list?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was the Wemby Panini Prism, no?
No.
Oh.
No, it was the Paul Skeens debut patch card.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yep.
I forgot about that.
Because I want my season tickets to the Pirates.
Yeah. I want my 5-minute meet and greet with Paul Skeens and Libby Dunn. Maybe we can have him pose as a Hall & Oates. That'd be fun.
There you go.
Okay, so somebody leaked out on the interwebs a Young Guns checklist for 24-25 Upper Deck Series 2 hockey. What's funny about this image, and I'll have to link to it.
It looks like from the image that it looks like it was shot off a scoreboard, but it's just a screenshot, right? Is that what it is?
It's a photograph of something that's it's basically
like a PowerPoint. Like a
PowerPoint, right?
Yeah,
so they were doing a PowerPoint presentation, and at the bottom of the PowerPoint presentation, it says proprietary and confidential. And
in the age of cell phones, sure.
So you got to give a background as to where this came from, though.
Yeah, the Upper Deck CDD conference.
Yes.
What is that?
The Certified Diamond Dealers.
Certified Diamond Dealers. Okay, so they did this. They had their conference. They did a PowerPoint presentation. Somebody took a photo of the PowerPoint presentation, but they didn't get the whole thing. So there's like 5 cards that are cut off all the way on the right. We're going to assume the very last one is the checklist because the last card's always a checklist. But, it's confirming some of the cards that are going to be in the Series 2 checklist that we kind of knew were going to be there. Like, we knew that Macklin Celebrini was going to be in Series 2 because now it kind of seems like, Series 2 is the place for that number 1 draft pick. If he debuts in the fall, we're going to put him in Series 2 instead of rushing to put him in Series 1 in a rookie photo shoot jersey, which I don't really have a problem with, but allegedly to some other people do. I don't know anybody who says, man, I hate that McDavid Young Gun rookie card because it's from a rookie photo shoot. I literally don't know anybody who's ever said that to me.
Well, a lot of people complained about the Lafreniere one.
Well, that was superposed, but whatever.
I don't know anybody in person who said that to me.
No, that's true.
I want to know who these people are.
It's people on the internet, right? People.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's that whole Wikipedia weasel word.
I agree.
Some people say that they were offended by the Alexei Lafreniere Young Guns card. Who are these people? Where are they? Show me.
Well, you know, Sal, that's a device a lot of sports writers use when they're asking a question to get an answer from somebody and say,
right.
Hey, people are saying, and sometimes the athlete will say, it's really rare, but sometimes the athlete will say, what people? Who are you talking about? You? And it's me and my sports buddies in the press box. We're talking about how much you stink. And now we have to say, when we ask the question, hey, some people say that, you're not playing your A game. And then they're like, oh, and then they give an answer. So when people in the hobby say, some people say, no, it's because maybe they had a conversation once with somebody, maybe they thought of it, or maybe they just made that up.
Right.
It's a device. But unfortunately, it drives a narrative now, and we don't want that because it's not based on any truth. Like you said, what people? Who are these people?
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
got into an argument with somebody on this over Twitter, and I was just like, "What people said this?" He's like, "Oh, there was a lot of controversy over the Alexei Lafreniere." I'm like, "No, there wasn't. Everybody was trying to get that card because we're height of the pandemic
That's
and
COVID,
everybody's
yeah.
collecting everything, So everyone was like, "Hey, cool! They have a card of the first overall pick in the set, which technically shouldn't happen,
Right.
and yet it's happening." Nobody was like questioning too hard, but whatever. I know you guys probably want to talk about a few of these young guns, but I'll just say I'm glad that Nolan Allen from Chicago is going to be in there because always happy to see a Blackhawk young gun, and Ivan of the Colorado Avalanche. So nice. They named him twice. He'll be in there as well. Oh, Drew Camesso from the Blackhawks as well.
If I'm Upper Deck, I would just put the checklist out there because it's done. It's out. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you tell your diamond dealers on Saturday and then tell everybody else on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And build hype. We're talking about it early, but it's good. Build hype.
Right.
But you know what? I've been told by people that checklists often come
Who?
out
What
right on the
people?
No, people like dealers have told me this, that the checklist comes out super late because they don't want people to start speculating on a product way too early. For
Mhm.
example, you can judge this product by if this list was not exciting enough for you, then dealers and even collectors would say, you know what, I'm not even gonna buy that product. I gotta tell you, I don't buy a product based on checklists. I mean, yeah, I'll look to see who's on there, how many rookies are in there, but I'm not making a decision like that. But I can see how Upper Deck and Tops would say, you know what, if we put this out 3 months early, and what if they want to change something? Then they can't, then they, I get why, but the fact that they told their dealers this, diamond dealers, it's set. I mean, this product is probably going to come out in March sometime. But it's probably already being made, if not already almost completed. So I understand that, but I mean, I can see how, I can also see in 2025, you can't have a presentation where everyone has cell phones and tell people this is private. It's a room full of people with cell phones. I mean, that's kind of a joke. But anyway.
Well, strictly from the checklist standpoint, there were two prospects that people were still looking forward to. They're both on this list. And that's Macklin Celebrini and Matvey Michkov. Once you check those two guys off the list, there's not a whole lot left for potential extended and what could be on an extended young gun list.
Well, that's the big question, right? What's extended?
So it is the question, because if you're going to put Celebrini in Series 2, the logical thing would be, well, you got to generate some type of hype for extended, so let's put Michkov in extended. But he's here. He is card number, look at the blurry screen, 492. So he's on the list.
This follows a pattern of the last few years where the best rookies end up in 2, and then extended becomes kind of a throwaway product.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. So there's been a lot of speculation and banter going around, like, are they going to axe extended altogether? So if they do decide to get rid of extended, okay, is it a huge loss? Not really. Extended, as we've all talked about and seen, has been lackluster for the most part. It's driven by the inserts more than anything else. It's not to say that it couldn't potentially have some decent rookies in it, because we've all kind of went by the standard of February being the cutoff point for your debut in order to get into one of these sets. So, I mean, you got Jonathan Lukaramaki, you got Sebastian Kosa, you got Fabian Lysell. Those guys are decent. I mean, that'd be the top guys that I would go with. I'd like to see Owen Pickering in there just because I'm a Penguins fan, but he's not on the list currently. Joel Blomqvist is, but that's cool.
I just hate this, though, when they do this, but maybe it's a key to getting extended, make it more interesting, is with Lafreniere, they did remake, I think it was in Series 2, they made another rookie card of him, right? Another young gun, which at the time annoyed me. I thought, well, you made it already, so why'd you make 2? But maybe that's the way to go, is to try to, an extended make.
They had to. All the people were complaining, so they had to make the corrected version with the right jersey.
I guess so, where you're actually playing in a game. But
all these
is that the
fake
real
people that Sal said didn't exist?
Is that the real one then? People are saying.
Yes.
I can tell you this: people are saying extended is terrible. It's not people saying it. I can tell because when I go to the national, extended series sells for $50, $60. The big dealers are looking to get rid of it. The resellers are like, get this out of our hands. We don't want it. And even I won't buy it because I'm like, I'm gonna open it. Then I don't need any of this stuff. And I don't care for it. And the inserts, sure, but you gotta get super lucky. Look, if this was extended, they would never leak that checklist because nobody cares about it. And so I think it's one of a situation where, look, I get the idea of it. I like in Topps baseball, they have the update series, and that works really well because they'll remake rookies from that same season. So they'll get 2 cards, they'll do like a rookie debut card or something, or they'll do an all-star debut or something. I mean, maybe that's what they need to do. They need to do something like baseball does, where yes, the same players get more than 1 card, and then they do players who've been traded and all that. Maybe they need to copy update series from baseball, which has been around forever and ever. And prior to that, it was called Traded, Topps Traded. So it's been around forever. And I just wonder if that's the template for extended, because the current configuration is just too boring, too uninteresting, comes out way too late, and no one cares about it.
Other than the one year we had Seth Jarvis out of it, I think we had Art Kaliev one year. Michael Bunting was in one of them. Not until last year did we actually get substantial rookies in extended, where Fantilli and Logan Cooley were both in there.
And I thought that would do it.
Yeah, but that's only because Bedard was in Series 2. It's like, what are you going to do? Stick another one of your top rookies in there?
No, I know.
So they had to do that.
Yeah, even Fantilli couldn't keep it interesting, which I thought was surprising.
Yeah. People are sleeping on him still, I think. But
I agree. I think so.
I like extended series. I mean, I've said it a million times, so this isn't anything new. I mean, you got guys who are traded, so it's nice to see them in their new uniforms. They can't always get them in there in Series 2. Sometimes they can get them in Series 2 if in October they're in their new jersey with their team. But if it's somebody who gets traded like mid-season, I mean, I still think it's really cool when you would get that pack of cards and you'd be like, oh man, this guy was just traded like 3 months ago and now I got a card with him in that jersey. Heck, I remember one time, and I've probably told this story before, and I apologize if I have and you're tired of it, but I remember like one year when 0607 Fleer came out, and it used a lot of press conference photos to like basically update the cards. Like they showed Zdeno Chara with the Bruins jersey because he just signed with the Bruins, and they had a press conference photo of Martin Havlat with the Blackhawks. And I remember buying the box of cards on a Friday night, like on my way home from work. I stopped at my LCS. They just got in Fleer. I bought a couple of boxes. Saturday, Havlat and Nikolai Habibulin were signing autographs. And I remember opening the packs and, oh, wow, cool, Martin Havlat and a Blackhawks jersey. And that's one of the things that I got signed because it was like limit 2 per person. So I think I got a photo signed and a card signed or whatever. But I definitely got that card signed. And Havlat, like, he paused and he goes, whoa, they already have cards of me in a Blackhawks jersey? Like, he was just amazed. Like, he kind of did like a double take, like, and then he signed it and he smiled and he was, very friendly. But it was just like, that just caught him off guard. He thought he was just going to be signing stuff like in Senators jerseys or whatever. So, I mean, even the players sometimes think it's kind of cool when they could get a card out that quickly. So I like Series 2. I like Extended Series. I like Upper Deck being, 750 cards? I think it's great. What spooks me is that cards 496, 97, 98, 99. We can't see 500 because it's cut off, but I think it says checklist because we see a C and then it gets cut off. But 496 through 499 are teammates. They're rookie teammates. Like we got a card of Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith together on the same card, right?
But notice no Will Smith in the Young Guns list.
That's what I can't figure out. And there are
he
some
wasn't
Young
in
Guns,
Series 1 either.
right? And there's some that are cut off on the side.
There's only one name you can really see on that far side.
Yeah, the L apostrophe, and I have no idea who that is.
That's Zach LaRue. So
okay,
That's it. That's the only name you can really make out.
Right. Although the one above that starts with, looks like a J.
Yes.
God, I feel like I'm at the DMV doing an eye vision screening test.
Yeah.
J.
It looks like JA, and the one above that looks like it starts with an A and the last name's a K. So I don't know.
Right. So anyways,
this is like Wheel of Fortune.
Well, yeah, right.
Can I buy a vowel?
I'd like to buy. So Upper Deck would normally do these like filler cards in their Young Guns. Like they would do like first round draft pick, right? Or they would do didn't they do that last year? Or they did something like
They've
they
done
would
it
kind
the
of
last few years.
right. So they come up with ways where they go, you know what, we really want to have. Well, the first year they had 30 short prints because they couldn't even come up with 50 Young Guns in that 2021 Upper Deck Extended Series, right? So they did only 30 Young Guns. Then in the next 2 years, they extended it to 50 Young Guns, but then they're just like, we're going to do, first round picks or whatever, right? They kind of used that to pad out the Young Gun checklist. They still made them short printed. People are like, well, that's not their rookie card because they did like a Bedard like that. And people are like, well, it's not his rookie card because it's not the Young Gun. I'm like, it came out in his rookie year. And
Easter
it's part of the
right?
rookie subset. So
yeah.
No, not the Easter egg one. I'm talking about the one that was in the
other
extended
one.
series. So,
yes.
Yeah. So, as Tim pointed out, Will Smith is not on this checklist. So, why would they put him in this subset rookie card where he's pictured with Celebrini if they don't intend to put him in I'm going to just say Series 3, Extended Series?
Here's my thing on it. Yeah, it gives us the extra fluff to the rosters. It gives us some of the traded players in their new jerseys. I'm fine with that. Gives us the extra Young Guns. Cool. They've always added the extra number 1 draft pick ones or something to the end, which some people hate them. I mean, if you look on ComC, what they end up be selling for, everybody hates them because they go for 27 cents each, even the top players, except for Bedard, but whatever. But they've included all-stars. Like that's where they put the all-star, like the players in the all-star jerseys from the all-star game. Guess what?
Yes, but
no all-star game
game. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So I started thinking, wouldn't that be a good opportunity to like do a subset or something like that for the 4 nations?
I don't think they can picture them in their national team jerseys.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think NHLPA rules are they can't be pictured in their national team jerseys. Now I know that this 4 nations thing is basically an NHL.
It's sponsored by the NHL, so
concocted, tournament.
Right.
But it could be that there is no. Now, look, I would love to have cards and extended of these guys in their national team uniforms. I'd be all over it. But if they can't do it, maybe they realize an all-star game, not enough rookies. No one buys us anyway. Maybe we don't make one this year.
I wouldn't say I'm playing devil's advocate there. Maybe just playing wishful thinking.
Let me interject really quick. So, first of all, with all-star cards, if the set is a 23-24 product, the all-star game cards that will be included will be from the 22-23 all-star game. In other words, it's from the previous season, right? It's not from the current season. Now, I could see why this could be, I'm not saying you're confused, but why collectors would confuse this, because in the 90s, that was actually more common. So like, for example, 90-91 Upper Deck Hockey had cards from the 90-91 All-Star game that happened in January of 91, and they put that in the high number series. There were pictures from the 91 All-Star game that was at Chicago Stadium and the Heroes of Hockey game, right? So that was kind of like same season, same All-Star game, right? Whereas Pro Set waited until 91-92, and then they did cards of all the players in the All-Star jerseys in their Series 1 sets, right? Now you don't really kind of get that kind of, with what Upper Deck did, that kind of rush to like put cards from that All-Star game, that happened earlier that season into its late season product. That's the first thing I just want to say. The other thing is that regarding this Four Nations face-off, this is not an IIHF tournament, as far as I
No.
know. This is
No.
an NHL tournament. So have we seen the jerseys yet? Have they revealed the jerseys, what the players are going to wear?
No.
Honestly, what I'd like to see is just NHL all-star style jerseys, but in the team colors, right? So let Sweden have yellow jerseys, but with an NHL logo on it, maybe a Swedish flag on the sleeve. And USA could be the same thing. They could be blue jerseys with an American flag, where you'd have the shoulder crests, right? And Canada could be red, and Finland
is blue and white, or
either like they're powder blue, right? And then
So wait, so you're saying that we're not going to see the USA in the same uniform that we saw at the World Juniors, for example, just the USA hockey jersey. We may not see that.
Right, because as far as I know, since this isn't like a Team USA. Then again, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
You're right. It's like an all-star game when they play.
It's an NHL tournament.
It's an NHL tournament, so they could kind of like Rendezvous 87, where you had the NHL team against the Russian team, right? And that kind of took place instead of the All-Star game. They had this 2-game tournament, right? So I think this seems to be kind of like a cross between the Canada Cup and an NHL All-Star game. So I could see there being cards of this, but I don't think it would be. Well, it might be an extended series if they got it out, because what did we say? The cutoff's the All-Star break. Well, this is the All-Star break. So, yeah, actually, Tim, that could be doable. That would actually create excitement for extended series. But then again, the people who are going to buy it are going to buy it anyway. And then you wonder if it's just better off to have like a standalone, like a small set. I don't know. I think we don't really
Like
see
they did for the World Cup.
Those were giveaways, though, weren't they? In 2016, I never found those. Weren't those like giveaway cards or something?
I don't even remember how I got mine. I have a big old stack.
Yeah, I don't remember what the deal was with those. All I remember is that the Austin Matthews was like a floating head card, because they didn't have like. I don't think they had like a full picture of him in a jersey yet, in a USA jersey.
They were some goofy looking cards.
Yeah, I should put that on my list of things to buy. Actually, I think that would be really freaking cool. Just do all-star jerseys, but do them in country colors, and then you just put the flags on the shoulders. Don't overthink it. That would be perfect.
Yeah, it would remind me of those, like you said, Canada Cup cards from Upper Deck. These guys are in there.
Now that was interesting, because I want to say that I don't, obviously I wasn't writing this stuff down back then because I wasn't blogging about hockey in the 90s. But like Canada Cup took place in like August, September. Like it took place during NHL training camp.
I think that's right.
And they had those Canada Cup cards were in Upper Deck that came out that fall, which would have been like October, maybe November.
Pretty quick turnaround, considering.
Pretty quick turnaround, but they could have used pre-tournament Canada Cup games, and then of course they had more Canada Cup cards in the update series that Upper Deck put out later that year.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting is that this sort of this grainy photo of this checklist from Series 2 spawned all kinds of speculation about Series 2 and Extended, which I think is good that we flushed out, because I mean people see that image and go, oh great, Celebrini's in this product, and they move on. But I do think the speculation about what it could mean for the rest of this year's flagship product is important. And look, I guess we have to wait and see. But at some point, Upper Deck will have to start giving us, some more clues as to what it is that they're actually doing. And when the Series 2 checklist does come out, which I have to think at this point is going to be soonish, because I think the product comes out in March sometime. Then from that, we can see, because I don't recall them ever putting 2 Young Guns on the same card unless it was the checklist. I don't recall that being a thing at all. So that would be really new and different, and then maybe would mean something for the future. But
I wonder what they're going to look like. I'm picturing in my head the 06, 07 O-Pee-Chee Rookie Showdown cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm picturing.
I'm just picturing what the checklist looks like, where they just have 2 images. I mean, I don't think it's going to be anything.
It could be like that, or it could be like the teammates cards that they did, or not teammates, but the duos that they did for Tim Hortons,
Oh, back and front.
where they're front and back. Those are kind of
Right.
cool.
Or maybe
Yeah.
it has the two of them like posing with like musical instruments, like they're in a
Like
band
a guitar
together.
and a microphone.
Oh, they're at the beach, like in the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
frolicking in the waves. That would be cool.
Only the Rangers players would have that. That would be.
I would love to get that card signed. And, Tony Monte pops up from time to time at shows. I would need to get that signed by him and Doug Waite, and Stephen Rice would be kind of, I don't know what he's up to.
You have to like go scouring some small minor league rink somewhere in Canada where he's like a coach. You're like, I need you to sign this card. And he just rips it up and throws it at you. No.
Yeah, like, when I asked Upper Deck why they don't do more fun cards like that, they said like photos like these are now like kind of a source of embarrassment for players. And then they said, here's one in particular that is still not problematic, but here's one in particular that was particularly embarrassing. And they sent me an image of the checklist with the 3 Rangers players at the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
I thought they were talking about the Pavel Bure one with the rollerblades, but I guess they're talking about the checklist one, which is.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking epic.
Clearly, yeah. Clearly, they sent all these rookies, instead of doing what they do now, that rookie showcase in DC in a rink, is like, let's all go to the beach, like on the, Venice Beach, let's do that, or.
I will say this, Upper Deck was very creative with what it did. Like, they knew Pavel Bure was going to play in the NHL. They didn't have a picture of him in a Canucks jersey. They got that photo in the summer. He's on the beach on rollerblades. Yeah. That's great. They knew Yari Curry was going to, he signed with the LA Kings. They knew he was going to play with the Kings. They didn't have a photo of him with the Kings yet, but what did they do? They had him in the locker room and he's tying his skates and he's wearing a Kings jersey and he's looking up and he's smiling. And that was cool. Like, you go, okay, he's not on the ice. Who cares? He's in a Kings jersey. He's being included in this set. I thought that was great.
Yeah, you know why? Because that was an innovation compared to Topps just airbrushing people for 20 years.
Well, if they were that concerned about embarrassing photos in 91, 92, I give you 4 years later, the Be a Player set. And I rest my case. So they didn't care that much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, those Be a Player cards are pretty freaking epic.
That's probably the most cringe photo set ever made.
You know what? We should definitely table that conversation because you know what? We're on the 30th anniversary of the 94-95 lockout and how that just totally messed up in some ways and improved in other ways hockey card collecting. And really 94-95, I mean, you have your like bellwether moments, 90-91 and 94-95. Those would probably be your 2 big ones. Of course, you'd say 05, 04, 05, 05, 06, whatever, right? But I'm just saying in the history, those are pretty significant.
That's also the same time that the entire card market kind of collapsed. Because you had the baseball strike in 94. So everything kind of blew up.
The high water mark.
Yeah, the low water mark, maybe.
Well, yeah, but you had the baseball strike, but then as a result of that, you had better baseball cards come out. You had sets like Finest come out, and they made more money.
And then you had the whole insert era over junk wax era died, and then you had a whole different situation. But
and so the NHL players wanted that too. They said, "Hey, wow, there's premium baseball cards that are $5 a pack. Our cards are selling for 50 cents a pack. Why can't our cards sell for $5 a pack?" And they looked to what baseball was doing.
They can. You just have to put an autograph in them.
Yeah, and they did. Yeah. But then you had sets like Finest, and then you had sets like SPX, that kind of raised the bar and raised the price. Funny, $5 a pack seems so trite now by today's standards, doesn't it?
Quaint.
So, all right. I think we'll end it here. Would love to know your thoughts of what you think about the Upper Deck Series 2 Young Guns checklist. So leave a comment wherever you found this podcast. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe. But overall, thank you for giving us your attention. And until next time, collect what you like.